Daniel Radcliffe's voice is amazing.
Japan, the only country in the world where you can sit around a table with real Japanese people, with real Japanese food, in a real Japanese house, with a real violent plastic hippo. It's therefore no surprise that so many people want to come and live here. But how do you move to Japan? Is there an easy way? And are you aware of your own defect? Which is my new favourite chat-up line I stole out of a Japanese English textbook, and one that often leads to, arguably, mixed results. But every week I find myself faced with a digital sack load of questions from people, often asking how I ended up working here in Japan and how I ended up finding work. And the honest answer is it wasn't that difficult, because I took a route that thousands of other people take every year, and it doesn't have many of the barriers you would expect to actually get a job here in Japan. You don't need proficiency in the Japanese language, you don't need vast financial resources, you don't even need a good quality face. All you really need is a degree. Regardless of what it's in, it could be astrophysics or horse studies, just a degree. And so today I want to raise awareness of what I and many other people believe to be the easiest way to move here to Japan and find a job. There's two programs, but ultimately it's the same profession, and that is of course teaching English. And for those of you who are just sick all over your shirt at the prospect of teaching, hold on for a minute, bear with me, because it's really fun, it's awesome, and it's not that bad, as a lot of people seem to think it is. And ultimately, it is the best way into Japan, because first off, other than being a university student, teaching is the easiest way to work within Japan, to find a job and get entry into Japan. And second, teaching is actually a lot of fun, even for people who don't think it is going to be fun at first, or were wary. The students are great, they're the main reason I enjoy my job, even if they do think up nicknames for me that I might not always agree with. I don't know where they got Chris Hot Dog from. Chris Hot Dog, what is that? Chris Hot Dog. I once was asked in front of a class of students what my dream was, what I wanted to become. And I said I wanted to be James Bond, although I stated it would be quite difficult for me to become James Bond. And a few days later, upon my desk, there was a poster for the new James Bond film with a little motivation note saying, "Don't give up your dreams to be James Bond, you can do it." From a girl who called herself Bond Girl, although I began to speculate that they weren't actually a Bond girl. But it was nice nonetheless, and so it's kind of pushed me more. It made me want to try harder to become a fictional character. So that was very nice. It was a nice gesture and quite unexpected. So the students are great. And many people who were often hesitant to become teachers later come on to thrive and enjoy the role. So the two popular ways into Japan are the JET program and Interac. JET stands for Japanese Exchange Teaching Program, and it is operated by the Japanese government. And then Interac is the privately run equivalent of JET, and both organisations encompass a similar role. I'm going to focus on JET because I can speak from personal experience, because that's what I did and do now. The Japanese Exchange and Teaching Program is one of the largest exchange programs around. This year there are about 4,300 participants from around 40 different countries. Most of these participants will go on to become assistant language teachers, ALTs, working in Japanese schools around the country. Also note it's assistant language teacher. Your role is to work alongside Japanese teachers of English very closely in the classroom and expose students to the English language and facilitate conversation with the student and get them using all the English they've learned over the years but never have actually used because foreigners are so rare in Japan. Hopefully you can teach them phrases other than the ones used in the textbook, such as "it was like a magic," which is a real phrase from a real Japanese English textbook. And whilst the role of an ALT is primarily to work at your school or schools for 5 days a week, the role and the position of the ALT also encompasses many other different things to try and take advantage of the presence of having a foreigner, which is something that's still pretty rare in Japan. After all, 98% of the people living in Japan are Japanese. There's not many foreigners around. So there's an expectation that you'll kind of get involved and engage with the local community outside of work. For example, I'll go to sake factories, drink sake, and laugh at jokes that I don't really understand. Give motivational speeches to students whilst walking slowly across the stage, trying to look cool and promoting Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe's voice is amazing. Okay.
And I shatter my vocal cords with locals on a regular basis.
I can't feel my throat.
Those are just some of the ways that I give back to society here where I live. Ultimately, you just need a degree and the right mindset, the right interest in Japanese culture. They're looking more at soft skills, personal experience, your personality. Yes, the application process can be a little bit intimidating and it can be quite competitive. The only reason I managed to pass and get through was that I invested maybe 2 or 3 months in systematically murdering every other potential candidate within the UK. And then I was ultimately successful. People often ask me how I got the visa and the job and the house and all the other paperwork. And the truth is the JET programme took care of everything. From the flight here to Japan, to sorting out the apartment, to sorting out all the paperwork. They took care of it and my teachers at my school took care of it. So to people taking part in the JET programme or Interac, it's not too much of an issue. And then before you know it, you're here, sat in your apartment trying to work out how to use the air conditioning unit. And once you're here, you'll either grow to love your job, as I have, or maybe you can look for a different job further down the line after a year and move on, as a lot of other people do. The most important thing is you're here, living in Japan, you've got in. And once you're in, it's easier to find a new job in a field maybe you feel is more appropriate. If you don't get onto JET, as I said, there's Interac, which is just as good. I know plenty of people who are on it, they speak very highly of it. Definitely check it out. But check out the JET website, check out the Interac website, have a look, see what you think. Hopefully, if you didn't know what JET or Interac was, hope you do now. Check out the websites. It's a great way to come here. If you already knew what they are, hopefully the video will provoke you to want to do it more. It may well be the escape you're looking for a new and fantastic life, but one without cheese. Bring as much cheese as you can. I haven't eaten cheese for almost I haven't eaten real cheese for almost 2 years now, and it's starting to take its toll. 2 years without cheese. You know, 2 years. 2 years without cheese. Real cheese, like not crap cheese, real cheese, the really good, just cheese,